You got in your car this morning, turned a key, pressed a pedal, moved at 40 miles an hour without using a single muscle. 100,000 years ago, that same trip would have taken 2 full days of walking, barefoot, through territory that could kill you. No road, no path, no sign telling you what's ahead. For almost all of human history, getting anywhere meant risking everything, and you had nothing to carry you there except your own 2 feet. Today, you can fly across the planet in a day. You can order something from the other side of the world and it shows up at your door. Movement is so easy now, it's basically invisible. But for roughly 300,000 years, every single journey a human being ever took happened at walking speed. And that one limitation shaped everything about how we lived, what we ate, who we married, how much of the world we ever got to see. So, let's start at the beginning. Your feet. Humans are the best long-distance walkers on the planet. Not the fastest. A cheetah hits 70 miles per hour. A horse can sustain 30 for mile. You top out at maybe 15 and only for a few seconds before you're gasping. Speed was never the point. You can walk 20 miles in a day, sleep, and do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, for weeks. No other animal on Earth can do that. Your feet have arches that act as spring. Your Achilles tendon stores and releases energy with every step, so your muscles don't carry the full load. You have 2 million sweat glands cooling you down, while every other large mammal on the savanna overheats and has to stop. You're not built to be fat. You're built to never stop. In 1978, paleoanthropologist Mary Leakey discovered a trail of footprints in Tanzania, pressed into volcanic ash 3.6 million years ago. 2 individuals walking upright, side by side. The oldest evidence of bipedal walking ever found. And they look almost exactly like yours. For millions of years, that was the only transportation technology humans had. And somehow it was enough to take us further than any species has ever gone. Starting roughly 70,000 years ago, humans began walking out of Africa. Not in one march, over thousands of years, generation by generation. Small groups pushing a little further into territory no human had ever seen. They crossed the Middle East, spread across Asia, reached Europe, walked into Siberia, crossed a land bridge into Alaska, and kept going south through the Americas, roughly 15,000 miles, without knowing the destination even existed. And the thing that doesn't get talked about enough, they weren't walking randomly. Archaeologists have found obsidian tools hundreds of miles from the nearest volcanic source, shells found far inland, amber traded across mountain ranges. These people were covering massive distances on purpose to trade, to connect, to find specific resources they knew existed because someone had told them. This wasn't wandering, this was networking on foot. The problem is walking works great until something gets in the way. A river stops you in your tracks, and rivers were everywhere. For hundreds of thousands of years, a body of water was basically a wall. You either found a shallow crossing or you turned around. And then, somehow humans figured out something no other land animal ever had: how to cross water on purpose. In 2003, archaeologists found stone tools on the island of Flores in Indonesia, dating back roughly 800,000 years. The problem? Flores has never been connected to the mainland. Even at the lowest sea levels of the ice ages, there was always at least 12 miles of open ocean between the island and the nearest land. Which means one thing: someone made the crossing. We don't know what they used. Wood rots, bamboo decomposes. Whatever they floated on is long gone. But the tools are there, which means the crossing happened. The first boats were probably nothing: a fallen log, a bundle of reeds tied together. Not designed, discovered. Someone grabbed a floating log to cross a stream and didn't drown. That was the breakthrough. Around 65,000 years ago, humans crossed from Southeast Asia to Australia. At least 60 miles of open ocean. You can't see Australia from the other side. You can't drift there by accident. Someone built something that could float, pointed it toward water they couldn't see across, and paddled. They left solid ground with no idea if there was anything on the other side. Walking conquered land. Boats conquered water. But there was still a problem nobody had solved. You can walk 20 miles, but you cannot walk 20 miles carrying a 200-pound animal you just killed. For most of human history, the limit on transportation wasn't distance. It was weight. You could only move what your body could carry. And your body can handle maybe 40 to 60 pounds before it starts breaking you down. So humans started cheating. First, dragging. You kill something big, throw it on a hide, drag it back to camp. We know they did this because archaeologists found wear marks on ancient hides that only appear when something heavy has been pulled a very long way. Then, the travois. 2 long poles tied in a V shape with a platform slung between them. One person could suddenly move 100 pounds or more. Then, animals. Around 15,000 years ago, humans domesticated dogs. The first animal we ever partnered with. One of the first jobs we gave them was hauling weight. But dogs are small. We needed something bigger. About 5,500 years ago, on the steppes of Kazakhstan, humans figured out the horse. Archaeologists found wear marks on horse teeth from bits. Someone had been putting something in that animal's mouth to control it. And the horse changed everything. For 300,000 years, the fastest a human could travel was about 4 miles an hour. Walking speed. On a horse, you could hit 30. In a single generation, the human world got 8 times smaller. Suddenly, you could cover in days what used to take weeks. Messages moved faster, trade routes stretched further, and warfare changed forever because an army on horseback could reach you before you even knew they were coming. And then, the last invention, the one that took the longest to arrive. Here's something that doesn't make sense until you think about it. Humans crossed every ocean on Earth before anyone invented the wheel. The oldest known wheel was found in Slovenia, roughly 5,200 years old. Boats go back at least 10,000 years. Horses were tamed 5,500 years ago. Humans had already sailed to Australia 65,000 years before that wheel was ever made. The wheel was one of the last major inventions, not the first. And it didn't even start as transportation. The first wheels were for pottery, a spinning disc to shape clay. Someone turned it on its side, put something on top of it. Around 2000 BC, someone invented the spoked wheel. Lighter, stronger, much faster. Now you had chariots, speed and cargo at the same time. Roads came after. And once you had wheels and roads and horses all working together, you had something that looked like a real transportation system. Trade exploded. Empires became possible. The wheel, the horse, the road. That combination built every civilization you've ever heard of. So here's the full picture. For 300,000 years, humans had nothing but their legs. And they walked across the entire planet. They hit water and figured out how to float. They needed to carry more, so they dragged. Then they built frames. Then they partnered with animals. Then they tamed the horse. And the world got smaller overnight. Then they invented the wheel. And it got smaller again. Every one of those breakthroughs took thousands of years. Everyone was built on top of what came before, solving problems that would have seemed impossible to anyone who came before. Now you sit in a metal box on a paved road doing 70, and you call it a commute. You fly 3,000 miles across an ocean in 6 hours, and you're annoyed the Wi-Fi is slow. You've got a machine in your pocket that can summon a car to your exact location in 4 minutes, and you're irritated it takes 5. Your ancestors walked barefoot for 15,000 miles across continents they couldn't name to reach places they'd never seen. And they did it because staying still meant dying. We solved the problem of distance so completely that we forgot it was ever a problem. Every highway, every airport, every set of train tracks on this planet exists because 300,000 years ago, someone looked at the horizon and started walking. They didn't know where they were going. They went anyway. And that's the most human thing there is.